It's a new box office record for June. The Man of Steel set the new record this past weekend at the box office. Superman opened in first place with $116 million. This Is the End was a distant second with $20 million. And Now You See Me finished in third place with $11 million. A new Pixar movie squares off against a zombie invasion. Which one will take over at the box office? Here's Sean McBride, the movie guy, with a preview of this weekend's new movies.
I'm officially a college student! Yeah!
Our old Monsters, Inc. friends, Mike Wazowski and James Sully Sullivan, are back with the new Pixar animation movie, Monsters University. This is the story about how these two monster scarers first met back in their college days. It wasn't love at first sight.
First morning in the house.
That's going in the album.
I'm a huge fan of Pixar movies, and while I don't count this one among their best, it is certainly a lot of fun. Great characters, a lot of laughs, something for the whole family.
We've lost the East Coast. Moscow's still dark. Life as we know it will come to an end in 90 days.
World War Z is a pleasant surprise. Based on a very good book, this is the story of a United Nations investigator who's trying to get to the bottom of how and why the zombie apocalypse started. The movie is quite different from the book, opting to amp up the zombie action sequences instead. So this is a tense thrill ride, and despite some initial misgivings about the special effects, I'm pleased to say that World War Z will please all of you zombie apocalypse fans out there.
Every human being we save
Honey!
is one less to fight.
And that's what's new in the movies this week. I'm Sean McBride, the movie guy.
And Sean McBride, the movie guy, joins us via Skype to talk about the new movies. Hi, Sean.
How you doing?
Doing good. It's a good week for movies and kind of different audiences appeal here. Let's start with Monster University. And I found out today they went to MU, which is my alma mater, University of Missouri. University of Missouri.
Your facial hair, I guess.
This is
Monsters University. Pixar, for years has been the standard for quality animated films. They have yet to make a bad movie, in my opinion. And even when they make lesser quality films, and I can also argue that their last three movies have been lesser quality, but they're still a lot of fun, and they're still good for the entire family. So there's something for mom and dad to enjoy, and there's obviously a lot for the kids to enjoy. I think Monsters University is in that same ballpark here. I don't think it's anywhere near as good or as original or as, just wonderfully beloved as Monsters, Inc. But I think if you're a fan of Monsters, Inc., you will certainly want to see Monsters University. Basically, it's a prequel where we meet Mike Wazowski and Sully Sullivan in their early days back when they're in college. And, of course, they don't get along right at first, but they complement each other well, and they team up. They join this fraternity, and they team up for the scare games, and, a legendary monster scaring team is born. Fun for the family, very funny moments. I don't think it's as heartfelt as some of my favorite Pixar movies, but still a really good, solid film.
Let's move on to World War Z. This is the Brad Pitt, he stars in it, also produced the movie based on a fairly well-respected zombie novel, if you will. This movie, is it fair to say it's an intellectual zombie movie?
I think it's fair to say about the book, and that's why we were so interested in seeing this. I do love that book. It's a UN investigator, and he's chronicling how the zombies took over the world and how UN forces and the like tried to battle them back. It's kind of an interesting thing. Interesting also, though, that it starts in China, and in the movie that doesn't happen because Chinese markets have become such a huge and lucrative market for Hollywood. They're not going to anger those people. The movie has changed substantially from the book, and I'm a little disappointed by that. But I understand why. They made it much more of an action film, a lot more zombie attacks. When we first saw the trailer, I think most of us were pretty disappointed, both because of the departure from the book, but obviously also some of the special effects didn't look that great. I think this has turned out to be, surprisingly, a pretty good summer blockbuster. The zombie stuff was tense, and Brad Pitt's very good, and I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased to say for the second week in a row, all of our movies are pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to get out to the movies, depending what your tastes are. And I'm into the zombie genre for some reason. I can't figure that out. So, and I know that the book was basically the guy is traveling around, and it's oral stories are given to him. And a lot of people, thought, well, this movie can't be made. So they basically restructured that book in order to make the movie. But I guess they stick to the same premise.
It's the same basic premise, but they've changed a lot. They've changed the ending, for example. But I think that's a concession to just general movie making, to make it more exciting and make sure you get those teenage boys in the theaters, and obviously the Tom Wrights of the world in the theaters as well.
That's right. All right, Sean. Well, that sounds good. We got some great choices this weekend. Thank you.
See you next week.
Okay, and we'll see all of you at a matinee.